Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with my review for Luigi's Mansion 3. For those of you who haven't watched my Zach plays, definitely go and watch those. They are, obviously me playing the game for my first time, so everything in my review is coming from my experience with the gameplay that you guys are going to see. So that's actually pretty cool how that worked out. So anyways, I've been waiting so long for this game. Obviously, it got announced last year, and I've been so hyped for it ever since then, with only some minor skepticisms along the way. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, you all know my disappointment in Dark Moon, which is why I had those skepticisms going in, not being sure if next level games could really handle Luigi's Mansion in the way that I wanted them to. But I will clarify that I am coming at this review, or I went at the game with an open mind, being able to accept the changes that they made in Dark Moon and implementing them into this game with the hope that they would also give me something in return for the original Luigi's Mansion fans. So without any further ado guys, let's get into the review. Firstly, obviously, we're going to talk about the animation of the graphics. Now, the animation, honestly, in this game is spectacular. Next level games have really done an amazing job with the animations of all the characters in the cutscenes and outside of the cutscenes. When Luigi, gets scared, you can see the animation in his face when he gets scared. And in the cutscenes, see the animations and how expressive all the characters are. Not only the Mario, Luigi, and Peach characters, but also the ghosts as well. Getting to see all that beautiful animation is absolutely great. And that also goes to the graphics as well. The game just visually looks beautiful. While there are some areas that I still think is too bright for the Luigi's Mansion series, even with the brightness slider down, the game overall is still beautiful, and I love how the game looks visually. Now, as for how it runs pretty well. I've only noticed a few hiccups when it comes to the graphics. I had a few graphical bugs as well, particularly on the 14th floor, the dance hall floor. But other than that, the game runs pretty smoothly, and I had no issues. Now we're going to talk about the ghosts. The common ghost design is really good. I generally like the designs of all the common ghosts, but unfortunately the common ghosts lack any kind of variety. There are only 7 types of common ghosts, which sounds like a decent amount, but 2 of those are just mini versions of existing common ghosts, and then one of the other ones I only saw 3 times in my playthrough. You'll see it when I upload it, I promise you. Ghost combat is very, very good though, very, very fun, but I do think the slam is just a bit too OP and a little bit repetitive. But thankfully, you can go throughout the whole game without using the slam. The game was mostly designed around using the slam, but there are definitely instances where you can get away without using it. So, for the most part, I didn't use the slam and only did whenever I was swarmed with ghosts. That way I can defend myself while I'm sucking up a ghost. The portrait, or boss ghosts, are also amazing and very, very varied, each with their own distinct personality, with Morty's being the strongest. And I think a main reason of Morty's personality being the strongest is because of the fact that he has dialogue. And this is something that the rest of the boss ghosts lack. None of the other boss ghosts, besides Helen Gravely, really have dialogue, like deep dialogue. Most of them just make grunting noises at you and just boo you and expect you to react. It's unfortunate. I wish that more of the ghosts had kind of dialogue threatening Luigi, making them seem more human. They are human ghosts after all. I mean, Polterpup even got dialogue, so I think the boss ghost should have gotten dialogue too. Though, with the boss ghost, the boss fights are very, very impressive, with only one fight being kind of a stinker, which I will talk about in a little bit. Next up is structure. Thankfully, the mission-based structure from Dark Moon is gone, and it is great to be able to freely roam the tower once you clear the floors. However, I do wish the floors were a little less linear. I'd rather a big floor with a bunch of rooms to explore in a random order, kind of like the shops in Twisted Sweets, rather than exploring floors in a start room and basically go in a straight line to the end of the floor or to the top of the floor, like in Garden Suites, Boilerworks, Castle McFrights, and the Fitness Center. Also, some floors like the Unnatural History Museum and the Great Stage suffered from being really short, underdeveloped floors that didn't really have much to them besides the boss fights that were housed on those floors. Thankfully though, all the floors were really, really good. Well, except for one, the Boilerworks. The Boilerworks was a very tedious floor, there was almost no ghost combat, the puzzles weren't fun, and overall was just not a fun floor, which ended on a low note with the worst boss battle in the game. So that floor was definitely a downside to me. Thankfully though, this floor was the only bad floor that I personally encountered. Also, catching boos is much improved in this game and fighting gems is great. Unfortunately though, the reward for the labor is not very impressive, it's only mere cosmetic changes within the game itself, with the flashlight having a boo face on it and the the plunger being shiny if you collect all the gems. And it's really lame, especially when you compare it to Dark Moon's pretty decent rewards. While the game's soundtrack was pretty good, there was nothing that was really memorable to me, with some of the exceptions being the remixes of the themes from the first two games. Most of the music was just background music to me, which is not inherently a bad thing, but something I've always loved about the Luigi's Mansion games is the music, so this game's soundtrack not impressing me was actually quite disappointing. The voice clips though were very, very nice, and seeing the characters' lips sync to those clips was very cute, but honestly kinda creepy at the same time. Now with the multiplayer, unfortunately, I haven't really got a chance to play the multiplayer because the internet's been really, really weird with me. It's not letting me connect to, other people and play online. But I will say that I did play the Scarescraper single player, and while it's really not as fun as it would be with multiplayer, I will say that it is very, very fun and, definitely a good way to spend your time in Luigi's Mansion after you're done playing the game. Overall, I give the game an 8 out of 10. It was definitely a great game that exceeded my expectations with only minor hiccups along the way. It was a great game. I still don't think it was as great as the original, but that is something that they can rectify with a Luigi's Mansion 4 because this game is definitely heading in the right direction. It's a great game. I loved it, just not as much as the original. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.